We have officially gotten to the time of year where most boats start to sit for extended periods of time. Depending on where you live, it could be because things are freezing up, or maybe you're just doing other things. Fishing's not that great. Or maybe you do have the ability to fish 12 months a year and you are still using your boat. This might not apply to you, but for people like me, where my boat is gonna now sit for probably the next 4 or 5 months, there's a few things you need to do to it to make sure that when you do finally get it out, things are still working and things are good to go. So one of those things is your battery care. So there's not a lot that you have to do. However, these days batteries are the lifeline of your boat. So taking care of those things is really crucial to making sure everything's working in tip-top shape when you're on the water. So when it comes to battery care, there's not really a whole lot that you have to do, but doing these few simple things can really alleviate a lot of headaches down the road. So first and foremost, what I like is to make sure that all my batteries are fully charged going into the off season. So I just like to see all green lights across the board on my battery charger, and that's really it. Step number 2, there's really not a lot to it. I just go through and I disconnect all my connections, inspect them thoroughly. So I make sure all my wiring's good. There's no troublesome things that could affect my time on the water later. If there is, I get those fixed. And then if there's any kind of corrosion on my terminals or anything like that, I just basically go through and hit everything with a quick wire brush and clean it up, make sure it's good to go come the spring. So now step number 3 is a little bit dependent on how you store your boat and where you live, honestly. So for me, I live in a super cold climate and I don't have heated storage for my boat, unfortunately. So with that, I remove all my batteries, disconnect everything, take my batteries out, store them in a heated place where they're good to go and they're not gonna freeze or anything like that. So if you don't live in a cold climate, you don't have to worry about them freezing. At a minimum, you should just disconnect all of your wiring. Either remove your batteries and store them in a heated place, or number 2, disconnect everything and let them sit. Step number 4 really has to do with maintaining your batteries throughout the off season. So it's really just making sure that your batteries are completely topped off throughout the year. So for me, I'm gonna have my batteries in a heated place where I can go in and easily connect a charger to each and every battery, probably every month or 2, just to make sure that it's fully charged and everything's good to go. Just keeping that battery fully charged throughout the year. Best for battery health, to make sure those batteries last as long as possible. So really that's kind of it. There's only a few things you have to do throughout the year. Just making sure your batteries are taken care of for the long run. It will save you time, it will save you money if you do these things, because one of the worst things you can have is during the season while you're able to go every day, if you're having those kinds of battery related issues, a lot of those can be avoided by taking those steps now to make sure everything's taken care of when you're able to get out on the water. So consider doing a few of those things, all of them, and it should save you some time in the long run.